Hello Doraemons, welcome back. So for this video we are back with our favorite Python videos, and I have took a question which is asked on 18th of April, which is last IRA. So I have never touched this question since then. I have to solve it freshly for you guys. I've decided to do it in lively in this video, exactly lively. So just I'm going to just go through the things, and I'm going to show you how I read a question and how I solve. So I thought this would be better because I could encounter with some of the things, and I will be also telling you some tips to reduce the time you take to solve this question. I'll give you some hints so that you can keep up with your time and manage your time better, and also you can solve it on time. So now let's get started. So first off, we know, as I already say before even reading the question, only with the things given over here you can know half of the code can be written, and it will save you a lot of time, trust me. Like if you write this first before even reading the question, it will save you a lot of time. So let's first do that, and as always we'll get started with our little structure which we always have for the question. So if you don't know about this structure, please watch the one code video, because that is the basic thing you have to write for every single question in IRA, and it's really important for you to know it if you're going to or planning to solve IRA in Python. So now I'm going to just declare the object class object and def in it. You guys know this is the constructor. Like for every single class which you create, this constructor has to be returned. Once the class or function it is called, the constructor will automatically execute and everything inside it will be performed like that. So let's do. Inside this I have to pass all these with a name and with the data types which is given. So for register number, I'm just going to give NO, and for name, just name, and for cost I'm going to give C, and for location L. And after this they are given this is of type list, so I'm just going to give it L. Oops, here it should be L, and after that it's going to be the status. And here let's declare those names. So self.num is equal to num. Here after this the values are going to be called like self.num, i.num, or object which you are going to use like that. And let's do self.name is equal to name, and self.c cost is equal to cost, and self.l is equal to L, and self.linked list I'm going to give it LL, and again last is status. So after this we'll move on to the main function. So if name is equal to main, so here is the place where we will get all the inputs. So after writing this, from this we'll write the main class, but I'll show you later that one. Now let's move on to the sample input and output. You don't have to even read the question. Let's directly move on to the sample input and output, and let's check how it is given. We can easily predict out the repeated patterns instead of reading the question. So we have this, there is going to be a series of these values. So first they will be giving n, which we usually know. Before declaring n, we should declare one list to store our object list. So that list is f list, and we already know one list is going to be given in this input which I named as LL. So for that also let's do one declaration, and after that I'm going to get n. So n is equal to int of input, and after this we know it is going to represent how many set of objects you're going to get. So basically we are going to iterate for that. For I in range of n, we are going to give it first one is going to be number, and I'm just going to give num, is equal to, it is of type integer, we already know. And after that we are going to get a name, so I'm just going to give name here, and it is of type string, we know that. And after that it is going to give you a cost, so cost is equal to, it is of type integer. And next is location, so location, and it is also of type in string. And after that we have a list, so now we have to check like how many values are stored in this list. There are like 1 2 3 4 5 7 values. Let's check next one to make sure whether it is 7 only repeated for all the times. So here also 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and here also it is 1 7, and here also it is 7, I guess. Yes, so as we know now it is going to be only 7. Before that, for every object I get, I should get like a new list to store it. So instead of putting it here, I'm going to place it here. So every time it iterates, every time it gets an object list for one single place, it will create a new list and separately store these seven values for the respective ID which is given here. So now I'm just going to iterate for 7 times for I in range of n, sorry it is 7, and I'm going to get the rating values. So I'm just going to give it as v, and all are of type integer, and I'm going to put list dot append of these values. So now we have a separate list, and after that we have to get the status. So status is nothing but, we are going to give it here like this s, so s is equal to input. I think that's it for one particular object. And after getting that, we have something more like a dictionary, and after this we have 3 more values, like which is like shown over here, 102 west 57,000. So these are 3 values. So to explore what they will do, we have to read the function 1 and function 2. So we have almost written 50% of the query. Now let's move on to the functions. Yes, right here. So the first function, what it will do, the first function will take input an integer value which represents a register number. So the 102 which is given in the input, it is the register number, and what it should return is, function will return the final cost of the caf for the given registration number from the list of the cafes after applying the increased percentage for respective cafe location. If the average demand of the cafe for past 1 week is greater than 6 requests, an increased percentage is calculated on the basis of cafe's location as follows, like north, south, east and west. So for this purpose only, that dictionary is given down there, and what we have to do is we have to get this 102 number, where it is, yes, here 102, and we have to like calculate for this 102 data. We have to search through the list and we have to find, for this one we have to find the increased price only if this average of these values is greater than 6. Of course it's going to be greater than 6. Okay, let's see anyways. So it's going to be divided by 7. Let's see, it should be at least summed up to like greater than 48 or something like that. Only then it will like work. So now what we are going to do, we know, like we have got an idea why this north, west and east is used. So this is of type dictionary. So I'm going to declare one more dictionary, and here we know like direction is only of 4, which is north, south, east and west. So just I'm going to run it for I in range of 4. I'm going to get the direction, which is of type string. I given it as D, and the percentage of increase, which is of type int. Now let's add it to our dictionary. Dic of D is equal to P. So D is the direction is going to be the key, and the percentage is going to be the value. So after this, lastly we have to get 3 more values, which is the ID, registration number, and the direction and the price. So let's do it. I'm going to give it as ID, and it is of type int input, and we're going to get the direction. So I'm just giving a GD, given direction, and after this I'm going to get the price. So I'm just giving it as given GC, given cost, or GP, given price. That would be perfect. It is also of type integer, and int of input. So now we've got all the inputs. One more thing we forgot to add is, after getting till status, we have to append them to the F list. So we didn't do that. We'll quickly do that. So F list dot append of, we have to add num and name and cost. After that, location, and then L list, and then the status. So these will be added to the F list, and this dictionary, which is we are going to have it separately, and these values will be passed as parameters. So before moving on to the class main, we have to do one more important thing, which is declaring the object. So object declaration is the main part. If you leave it, you will not even figure out like where you missed. So object declaration, we have to go to class main, and here we'll be passing F list and extra like dictionary or list if we have. One list which we have already passed inside the F list itself, so we don't have to pass it here, but dictionary we have to pass it here. And object 1, for we are going to declare 2 functions. First one is fun1, and for fun1 we have to pass the ID, which is given over here. 1 or 2 should be passed. Based on that only the output will be given. And I guess like for fun2 the other 2 will be given, which is the given direction and given price, like that. Now let's move on to the class main. So all these which we do, all the operations will be performing in class main, and every class as a constructor. So def of init, and we are going to give it like self, and here 2 things is passed, which is I'm going to first name it as elist, and one dictionary is passed. So let's name them as self.elist is equal to elist, and self.dic is equal to dic. So hereafter we'll call the F list which we got the input and the dictionary of values in this main function as self.elist and self.dic. So now let's move on to def of fun1, and every function inside the class will have this word self when we are handling with objects. Especially if you haven't known these things, please refer to my previous video, and there is one code video for Python which you have to write for every single exam. One code video which is very important. I explain like what are the things you have to remember and why you have to follow this pattern, those things. If you haven't, I will be linking that video in the cards on the right top corner. You can check that out. So now after self, I told like here we'll be passing this ID, so I'll just give it as IDS to give a little bit different name, and we don't have to like give names for this parameters and all. It is not required. Anything which you're going to iterate, you can use it like this. So first thing is we have to iterate through the F list. So for I in range of not in range, in self.elist. So as I told, here after it will be called as self.elist. So now first we have to do is we have to find this number in the elist. So if here, like we call it as self, this self will represent this only, I. So if we iterate, this self which we are using here will represent this index. So self is like an index which links every value. So if I give like I dot number is equal to this IDS, then I'm just going to give print I dot name. Okay, I'm just going to run it. Oh, I didn't pass the inputs yet. I'll pass it real quick. And like if you want to solve this question on your own, the question is available in the link down below in the description, or you can like just open a new tab and go to code Doraemon dot blogpost.com and you will be redirected to my website. Go, and there are plenty of questions for IRA, CPA, PRA, and also for NQT. You can go to IRA questions and you can go to Python, and here in this place there are a lot of questions which is asked in the previous IRAs, and like this question will also be available in here. And I'm working on like producing you the codes also that will be soon updated like this. It will be soon updated like below showing it, and like you can just use it for the practice purpose, and once it is completed you will have like Java, and there are like different questions of Java and also Unix, and also some MCQs are also there. So you can use this website, and I will be linking the solution videos too, so if you want you can check that out. So let's get back to here, and I'll pass this input quickly. Yes. So now let's run and check. Ooh, seems like we missed something. A pin take only one. Oh yeah. So here just append will not work. We have to pass the class name of our object class. So object of now. So only if you put the class name which you added over here in this place it will work fine, because append will take only one argument. And there is some mismatch also. So this is a usually occurring error which we usually get. If you have been following my videos you know this thing, and if you've been solving the thing it is a quite obvious thing to be. So for in this place it says it is not taking things perfectly like that. So for we've taken int value, and yes, so this is the problem. It is expecting for this thing also inside the loop. So if we take this out it should be working perfect. So we have given everything inside the for itself, so that's why it's happening. Let's remove this out of the for, and now let's run it. We have got one more error which is object. Yeah, so this is also inside it. So now let's just move it back. Yes, now things should work fine. It should like, yeah, it has been displayed you a listen. So this is how, like I have just given in the print part I dot name, and it has matched that number with the object list, and it has fetched the name as Ellison correctly. And like there is something like GP and GD, it is input. Yeah, in the fund 2 we have not yet created fund 2, so that is why this error is appearing. We'll just create fund 2 and add those two parameters, and then that error will disappear. So def of fund 2, and don't forget the self, and we are going to add the direction and the price. So we'll get DAR and price, so PR. And now for now I'm just going to give it as pass. So now we have to find the increased value. Let's do that. So first we have to find whether the average is greater than 6. So now inside this we have to like declare one more thing for j in I dot list, which is LL. So now inside this list we are going to add every element in the list, and we are going to take the average. So let's create one dummy variable like average is equal to, as of now I'm just giving it a 0, and I'm going to add all the values in the LL list. So average plus is equal to j. Now this average value will have all the total of these 7 values. Now we are going to just divide it by 7. Let's check. And here we'll do like if avj divide by 7 is greater than 6, then we have to like get the directions price. So let's just try whether it is working fine. I'm just going to print the average and run it. So now it shows it is 47. So actually 47 divided by 6. So it is actually greater than 6 because only we got the average value in the output. If not, it would not give any like the output. So inside this, if this itself will be like if it is greater than, then we are again going to iterate through the dictionary thing. So what we're going to do, what shall we do over here is again, so for k in self dot dic, if we have to check this direction here, south, and we have to find that in the self dot dictionary. If I dot direction, which is we give it as location L, if I dot L is, and we have to do it case insensitive, keep that in mind. So lower, no, it's not lower is equal to k dot lower. If it is found, then print, it has to like increase the price of this particular 60,000 with the interest, the percentage increase. So the percentage for south is I think it is 10%. So 10% of 60,000 is 6,000. The end result should be 66,000. So let's I dot, the price we have given it is like cost. So I dot c plus, give it in one more bracket, I dot c start, it is 10, so we should take like 0.1, or you can multiply it by 10 and again divide it by 100. It is going to give you the same value. So now let's run and see it whether we get 66,000 or not. Oops, we made a mistake. Yeah, and we have to indent it inside. So now let's run it. Yes, so we got 66,000. Let's check with our output. Exactly, it is the one, and that's it. And I hope, like, if there is nothing like that, or if the average is not there, or if the ID itself is not there, we are going to print it like no record found or something. And we can declare one boolean variable to mark here else is false and here also else is false, and in the end if it is false you can print like no record found. I'm going to leave it to you guys, like it's a simple thing you can do. And now we are moving on to the function 2's output. So let's see what we have in function 2. So moving on to function 2, what it is saying is the second function will take as input a string and an integer value type, like as shown over here. It is going to show here in the input, it is given two values, right? One is the direction and one is some price. Yes, here west and 57,000. So we are going to take those two values in the function 2. And what is going to happen with that is this function will return the list of cafes whose status is available. So first we have to find the status is available in the mentioned location, in the location west, and whose cafe cost is closest to the budget. So we have to find which is closest to 57,000. So let's do that. So in this one, I'm going to again iterate. So for I in self.elist, and first we have to find the direction and the status should be available. So if I dot location is, and it should be like lowercase, make sure it is in lowercase. Everything you do should be case insensitive. So direction dot lower, everything like don't change the direct values, because when you print it out it should be in the same case which is provided in the question. So make sure when you comparing you make them lower. And if the status, which is I dot status, is equal to available, it should be available. And we have to find one more thing, which is the budget should be closer to 57,000. So let's see what we get as of now. Just let's print the IDs and see like whatever values we're getting until now. So now let's run and see it. It's not showing anything. Maybe like what is the problem? We'll see. Check out that. Available. Did I spell it wrong? No, it is, yeah, here I didn't put it as lower, so that's the reason. I've given everything in lower over here and it is like case insensitive. Now it is case sensitive, and now I have changed it to insensitive. Yes, now we have got like 3 IDs, and out of these 3 we have to find the closest amount. So let's check out that. And let's also print the prices and see like what are their prices and how we can sort them like that. So let's see, what is the price? So the prices are 70,000, 55,000 and 45,000. So first thing is we have to ignore the prices which is greater than the given amount. So let's do that. If I dot cost, it should be less than the given amount, which is PR. And out of them we have to like sort it in descending order and pick the amount which is closest. So now if we print like I dot C and I dot ID, I dot number actually, and now I'm just going to run it. So now we have only 55,000 and 45,000. So as per this, we know like this 55,000 is the closest, but anyhow we have to like arrange them. We can't be sure about anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like declare one dummy list and I'm going to sort it. So it's going to be price list, p list, and I'm going to add the values first. So p list dot append I dot, so here I think we can use a dictionary instead of a list. Why? Because I can store the id and also the prices, so that when I sort I can directly get the IDs from the dictionary itself. For that I don't want to again iterate. So what I'm going to do is p list of I dot no is equal to I dot price. And now if I just print the p list, let's see, I'm not sure whether it will print. Let's see. Yes, we have 104 for 55,000 and 105 45,000. So what we need to display over here in the output is, you have to show the name, actually the person's that cafe's name, and then the price amount. So instead of ID, I think we can store the name, it's better. So instead of no number, I'm going to give name, which is mentioned here. Now it should be fine. Yes, now we are going to sort it according to the prices. So sorting is a very simple thing. So here we are going to just give p list is equal to, we are going to use the sorted function, sorted of p list dot items, and here I'm going to give key is equal to lambda x is to x of 1, which represent the values, and the order should be reverse. So reverse is equal to true. And after writing this, when you sort it, it will give you in some other format, so we have to again like change it into dictionary format. So we have to give like dict over here. And after this, let's print and save. I think actually it is already there. The order will not change because it's already in Raja, the same order. The order will not change. Now let's check whether it is getting changed or not. It's not getting changed, but anyhow, like if some other value, lower value is present in the front, then it would like get the arrange it properly according to it. Now we are going to just print the first value of it. That's all. And here we can just put p of 0, and we'll just iterate through the list. And we have to check whether if p list is there, if p list print p list of 1, this playlist of 1 will give us the price, and if not, we're going to print like no such record, like that. So it is a very important thing which will be asked in the IRA to print to handle the exceptional cases too. So make sure you handle them. No such cafe, like that we'll give it, no such cafe. And now let's run it. Yeah, it's not showing, so yeah, definitely we have to iterate. So for I in dic p list, I'm going to print the I value, and I, after printing the first one, I'm going to break it. So let's see how this goes. Now run. Yes, So this is the exact output, and if this any of this is not there, if it is not handled, that is also even handled for this second one. I have handled it, and first one I've given you the responsibility to add it, and I've also told how to add it, like what conditions you can have. And yeah, that's it. How you felt about this question is most important, and when you like solve it with a calm mind, you will really figure out the solution. Like as I told, don't directly look into the solution and see that. Instead, what you can do is you can, as I told, look into the first set and try to write like some amount of code, and go to the sampling input and output, try to analyze some of the code, and then once you get a clear picture of the input and output, then go to the function definition. I think only reading these three parts of the question will give you most of the information. Maybe somewhere here and there some information may be missing, but you will at least figure out 95% of the things in this three parts itself. So make sure you put your concentration most on these three parts, and solving IRA is like piece of cake then. And I'm also going to solve the Unix which is asked with this. Let me quickly switch. So I'm just going to bash, and I already have the question right here. So the question is given over here. What is asked in that respective Python is, they have given, write a Unix command to display the number of movies who are belonging to movie language named Telugu, and the movie type is comedy, and the budget should be less than or equal to 25 crores. And this is the columns of the table which is going to given, and they have like given the field separated as star. So by giving this name to Telugu and comedy itself, you might have, like if you have been watching my videos continuously, it should spark somewhere about the grep command. So most of the things will be filtered using grep command. And for finally in the awk, we are going to just put one condition which is given over here, less than or equal to 25 crores. Let's see the sample input and output. So here the first thing is given, and we're going to, all are Telugu and 3 are comedy, and we have to fetch the which is greater, which is I think less than or equal to, right? Yes, it is less than or equal to 25. So which is less than or equal to is this only is 25. So we'll get the count of the record, which is 1. That's it. So let's solve it. So this grep command, and we have to do it case insensitive. And just put Telugu. This will sort out as all are Telugu. This is not going to perfectly work, but it will remove the first row. Now I'll just paste the input, and I'll run now. It may give some error because I've typed the input. Hopefully it didn't. The first row is avoided, the header row. Now we are going to filter it according to comedy. So we'll be using the pipe command, as you already know. If not, please refer to the previous videos. It is really helpful for you guys. And comedy. So here I'm going to just give comedy. And now let's see how much is getting filtered out. Now only 3 are popping out. If there is any command to do like 25 less than or equal to easily, I would suggest you that. But unfortunately it's not there. We have no other option. We have to go with awk command. Even instead of using grep, comedy and those things, what you can do is you can directly put these two, Telugu and comedy, here itself in the awk command. But I don't recommend you, because in sometimes you have to only count. If this less than 25 is not there, you can directly put line count, and that value will be popping out. So there is no need of awk command in that category, but here it is required. I'm just going to put that. If you have not known about this awk command still, please refer to that one code video for bash tutorial, and that one code will be explaining about this command, which you can use for every exam in IRA. So now field separator is star, and in this place I'm just going to give if. It is as you guys, if you are following, please watch my previous videos for sure. Here we have 1 2 3 4 5 columns. Each column will be represented as $1. First column is $1, second is $2, and third is $3, $4, and $5. So $5 only we are going to consider. So $5 should be less than or equal to 25. That's it. And we are going to just count it. So for count, we are going to, or like what you can do is you can just print $1 or $2, $3, something like that. And now what it will show means it will show the only column. Oops, this should be in double quotes. Make sure it is a symbol. Actually, it should be in double quotes. And now it is showing only one line. So now what you can do is you can do word count per line. So now what this will do means it will count the number of lines and it will give you the output. That's it. So but we have one exceptional case over here. So make sure this will only work if there is promising outputs. You can use this WC command, but here it is not there. So we have to declare one variable in this place like C, and we have to count it by our own. So here I'm, instead of print, C plus is equal to 1, and in the end part what you can do is end part, if C is equal to 0, then we are going to print like here, which is shown over here, no record found, like that. And what we are going to do is in this place, if not else, then we are going to print the count. That's it. Print of C. That is it. So now if I change this value to 24 or something, which is 24. Oh no, it should be 26 because it should be less than 25. Now it should show no records found. And yeah, that's all. It's for like 40,000 of incentive. Do you feel like I took only half an hour to solve all these things and you have like 1 hour time? And please make sure you attend the MCQs as far as you can, because MCQs helps a lot in getting 80 score, because it is holding 50 marks as equal as the SBQ. So it is most important. I have posted the most repeated and most wanted questions in the videos and MCQs. Please make sure you watch them. I have seen some of the questions which I have given in the last video has been asked in this 18th April. And please make sure you watch everything before the exam. I'll be posting it before the exam. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for joining in my family, and we are growing and so happy for you guys, and I'm doing like more positive comments. And make sure you comment down below what you want next, because I need idea from you guys, like what you guys really want to know. And yeah, I'll make sure I'll do it as fast as possible. And keep tuned for the next latest updates. I'm going to give you a course, or you can either join in with practical training session, or if you want like passive training session like that. So let me know down in the comments, and make sure you check my website too, which is shown like Doraemon.blogpost.com. If this link, if your typing is not working, then you can click on the link in the description down below and practice more. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Until then, this is your very own Doraemon signing off. Until then, bye bye, cheers, and keep learning and keep rocking. Bye.